Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished guests are entering the hall. Please welcome them with a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Good morning once again, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the Asia-Pacific Climate Change Adaptation Forum of the year 2013. My name is Tae In-young. It's a great privilege and an honor to be joining all of you in this sunny morning here in the beautiful city of metropolitan Incheon. I would like to welcome all of you once again to the Asia-Pacific Climate Change Adaptation Forum of the 2013, where we will be discussing a lot of things, policies, and the future regarding the climate and the change adaptation. And of course, the important thing is we are here to talk about what is going forward. We are now beginning the opening ceremony. To start off the ceremony with the opening remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to invite the president of Korea Environment Institute, Lee Byung-woo. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. Especially Honorable Song Young-gil, Mayor of Incheon Metropolitan City, and Honorable Kim Seung-gon, Member of National Parliament. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the KEI, Korea Environment Institute, and other co-organizers, United Nations Environmental Program, Institute for Global Environment Strategies, and Stockholm Environment Institute. It is my great honor to announce the opening of the Asia-Pacific Climate Change Adaptation Forum 2013. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to all sponsors, partners, and supporting institutions that have made significant contributions to make this forum possible. Climate change is not a science fiction anymore. We are experiencing its effects in our everyday life. Although the world is trying hard to stabilize greenhouse gas emission and climate change, its effects will last for a while, and the adaptation is necessary. However, adaptation is very difficult. It has to care various systems and places, including coasts and islands, mountains and uplands, cities and towns, and forests and biodiversity, and infrastructures, and also has to deal with various sectors such as public health, agriculture, disasters, water, and ecosystem. Moreover, adaptation requires a collaborative effort from all levels of society. Initiatives from the governments are important, as much as local approaches to adaptation are invaluable. Therefore, a key to adaptation is cooperation. We have to put our heads together to get to know each other, learn from each other's experiences, put ourselves in another person's shoes, and finally find a way to cooperate for more effective and efficient adaptation. I believe this forum, the Asia-Pacific Climate Change Adaptation Forum 2013, is a perfect opportunity for such activities. I hope you all enjoyed this forum and beautiful spring days in Korea, especially in Incheon, and wish you will be able to carry home useful ideas, insights, and wonderful memories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was the president of Korea Environment Institute giving his opening remarks. Next, the mayor of Incheon Metropolitan City, Song Young-gil, will welcome us with his remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mayor with a big round of applause.
네, 안녕하십니까? 반갑습니다. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am the mayor of Incheon Metropolitan City, Song Young-gil. I am so pleased to be here with you today. Fortunately, recent weather condition is very fantastic and typical. The spring weather is coming. And first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the United Nations Environment Program for its commitment to arranging this event, and the President of Korea Environment Institute, Lee Byung-wook, and the co-chairman of the Climate Change Forums in National Assembly, Kim Sung-gun, and other distinguished guests. On behalf of the 29 million Incheon citizens, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you who have come to Songdo to jointly respond to climate change. This is the first time that the Asia-Pacific Climate Change Adaptation Forum is being held outside of Thailand, where the UNEP Asia-Pacific office is located. The fact that our city is hosting this event so soon after its successful invitation of the UNGCF is an indication of the growing responsibility of Incheon in the area of green growth. Please note that I speak on behalf of every Incheon citizen when I say that I am proud to be joining the global effort to fight climate change. Honorable leaders from around the world, about 10 years ago, former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan responded to efforts in sustainable development by suggesting humankind has shown too little responsibility, too late. But I can't agree with his opinion. Of course, the pace of global efforts in dealing with sustainable development and climate change has not been rapid. For instance, the 4 decades have passed since the World Environment Day was first observed in 1973. And yet, during that period, global energy use has doubled and inequality issue has, if anything, worsened. It seems rather than pursuing the long-term plans and the collective cooperation, we continue to be short-sighted and act in our own interest. However, we should also note that joint efforts to save the Earth from crisis and ensure the sustainable development have been made. Such efforts include the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wildflora and Fauna, and the Intergovernmental Panels on Climate Change, and of course the Green Climate Fund. This success reminds us that when the world puts aside self-interest and moves toward a common goal beyond the borderline, it is capable of achieving a positive result, no matter how slow it may be. The UN is itself a case in point. After 2 world wars in the early 20th century, humankind found the UN to prevent another world war. Through the joint effort of its member nations, a third devastating war of this kind has been avoided. Now we are facing a threat that is bigger than any experienced in the last century. This is the counterattack by nature, what we refer to as the climate change, and it's because we stand at a moment of crisis that this moment in time becomes so precious in our collective efforts to take action for sustainable development of our planet. In short, this gathering is taking place at a point in history when action can no longer be put off. Distinguished guests, the UN Environment Program was launched as a result of the first UN Conference on the Human Environment held in Stockholm in June 1972, which had concluded with the Stockholm Declaration on the Human Environment. With the participation of the 113 nations, UN UNCHE laid the foundation for the future environmental action by identifying the environment as a key determinant of welfare and basic life, as well as goal for the survival of humanity. With the foundation of the UNEP, the UN was provided with a dedicated organization to deal with the global environment. Since its inception, the UNEP Executive Committee has led the agency to faithfully perform its role as the coordinator of the UN's environment activities and the monitor of the environment. In its lifetime, UNEP has successfully encouraged the government and the international society to take action in response to the environmental change which have occurred. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and applaud you all for your commitment and the dedication to the protection of the environment. The result of your dedicated efforts are evident. For example, in the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of the Wild Flora and Fauna, the Montreal Protocol and the substance that deplete the ozone layers, the Convention on Biological Diversity, and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Ladies and gentlemen, the key question we must answer now is how to begin to combat climate change. This is the most pressing matter facing this forum today. This is no question that many countries agree on the need to reduce greenhouse gases. The problem is that few provide a clear answer on how this can be achieved. It is particularly difficult question given the economic growth is such an important goal for countries around the world. If we are to succeed in our efforts, it is not enough to ask how much do we need to reduce greenhouse gases. We need to be looking at how to do it. This is an issue which needs to be resolved. And it is key part of this forum's theme of climate change adaptation. Korea has set a low-carbon green growth as a new national development paradigm and strategy. We believe that making our society and economy a low-carbon system will serve as a new growth engine while at the same time contributing to efforts to combat climate change. To make this happen, we are making every effort to change the fundamental of our society. Incheon is wholly committed to this process. Our city has undertaken to closely cooperate with the international community to resolve global environmental issues, including climate change, the development of green and renewable technologies, and the problem of waste disposal. At the host city of the UN GCF Secretariat, Incheon is already in the process of transforming itself into a global green city. We are doing our best to have the Secretariat operational as early as possible. We hope that this year, June, probably they are launching the transitional, the headquarters of GCF is located in our city. As you know, the UNGCF was established by the international community to properly finance and the global efforts to mitigate and adapt the impacts of climate change. Of the two, adaptation is the more urgent issue for developing nations. Here, rising sea levels, drought and flooding, tsunami and disease, and earthquake and volcano are already having a deadly impact. For this reason, there are inevitably differences in the views of adaptation held by developed and developing nations. As you know, the developed countries more focused on the mitigation of green gas, emission gas, but the developing countries more focused in how can adapt the impact of climate change. This is the chasm between the developed country and developing country. How can we narrow this chasm is very critical. I would like to remind you that hosting UNGCF Incheon and Korea are committed to acting as a bridge between developed country and the developing nation. As you know, our country and our city is very abundant experience through the overcome when we are developing countries, we overcome successfully many obstacles. So we are deeply understand the position of developing countries, the concern, and we can more effectively the bridge, role of a bridge between two sides. I hope that we will be able to produce effective and far-reaching solutions in the area of adaptation in particular. Distinguished leaders, 60 years ago, Incheon experienced enormous pain and loss due to Korean War, which devastated 80% of its territory. We overcome in midst of the debris, aftermath of the Korean Civil War. Like Normandy in France, during World War II, the Incheon was the site of a historic wartime landing operation. The resulting human and material and social damage was immense and unavoidable. 60 years later, Incheon is now the third largest city in Korea and home to 2.9 million citizens. And it also boasts a world-leading Incheon International Airport and Incheon Port with the development of IFES, Incheon Free Economic Zone. And our city is growing into the ubiquitous city with an optimized business environment. Incheon currently hosted 10 international organizations in the city. The first of these to be established was the UN APCICT in 2006, which was followed by UN ESCAP and UN OSD. Incheon is a true international city, both in name and substance. This is one of the reasons why I can't agree with former Secretary General Kofi Annan's comment that humankind has accepted too little responsibility and too late. People might be weak, but it is not too late. I believe that if we bring our wisdom together and move forward collectively, we'll be able to meet the challenge of climate change. The question is whether or not we can act right now. Distinguished guests, Incheon is already building upon what has achieved so far. A notable part of the current growth taking place here is the attraction of many worldly owned university and research institutes to the city. We'll also soon be holding 2013 Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games and 2014 Asian Olympic Games. These two major sports events will greatly enhance the international standing of our city. However, the citizens of Incheon are determined not to exploit this opportunity only for the development of our city. We will endeavor to develop Incheon as a city which contributes to the spirit of the UN in promotion of the welfare of the humankind and the co-prosperity of the international community. Accordingly, we will do our best to make our city sustainable socially, economically, and environmentally for the sake of the future generation. Although, as you know, the North Korea provoked